My Amazon FBA business failed. Here's everything I learned. Okay guys, this is gonna be interesting. So this is an abbreviated version of notes that I had taken down after dissecting the corpse of my now defunct Amazon FBA business. Okay, so let's take a look. This post is for anybody who is thinking of launching an e-commerce business and may benefit from my first experience. My business model was to buy acrylic paints from China, slap my brand label on them, and stick them on Amazon. Oh, and I quit my well-paid job to do it because I thought I would be earning my salary within 3 months of launching it. Yeah, really. So this is the first problem I see on Amazon. People are told that it's so easy money, it's very quickly to make a living here. Honestly, Amazon nowadays in 2024, it's like any other business. You have to invest on the first period, and then over time you get to cash flow neutral, and then over time you get to cash flow positive and you make money. And the beautiful thing about real business is it's actual real business asset that you can sell when you want, basically. When you want to exit, you just exit given the good price. Even if you don't want to exit, you just keep making money. But of course, it's gonna be not just in 3 months. 3 months was possible like in 2016, 17, it was like that. But nowadays, it's slightly more complicated. At least you should not just rely on this as a fact and assume you're gonna be successful no matter what. There are a lot of factors to consider. I still think Amazon is a good business if you know what you're doing and if you know your product really well. But let's continue. TLDR, build an organic audience, validate a well-researched product with them, launch on your own website, and only view Amazon as a distribution channel. Don't rely on paid traffic for sales. Not really true. If you're gonna rely on organic traffic only and don't rely on paid traffic, I mean, in any business, it's not sustainable. Like, you either have to be celebrity, which is like Kim Kardashian, she can sell anything and it will be selling like hotcakes from organic reach. But if you are not celebrity, then of course you need paid ads. Like any kind of business needs to boost organic reach. If you spend $10 and get $20 in organic, then of course it makes sense for you to spend. I would do it all day long if I were you, doing exactly the same. And that's what we do actually. We do sell also on Amazon, and there is a lot of these kinds of situations when we see the product. I can show a lot of cases, but when we see the product was, for example, let me just show you really quick. That's not advertising, but just forget about how the website is called. This is the real situation. When you increase advertising, like red bar is advertising spend and blue bar is net profit, not just revenue, but profitable revenue, like actual net profit, right? You increase advertising and your net profit grows. Why wouldn't you do that? Come on. But of course, it's not like every case is like that. So you have to be smart what you do, and sometimes it doesn't make sense. So we have to take into account all the factors, the whole situation, of course. Anyway, let's move on. So here's the long version. Okay, e-commerce is not a quick and easy route to passive income. Yeah, that's true. I thought running an e-commerce business would be a quick way for me to generate passive income. Amazon is not passive income nowadays, honestly. You have to do stock management, you have to work with listing if you want to be successful, not just try and fail or like hope. But if you want to be successful, you have to do work on listing all the time, like until you feel like you've done everything there. Like this is the best investment that you can do, is just work on your listing. Every month do something to improve your conversion rate. Then you have to work with product. If it's bad at something, for example, a lot of the times product itself is good, but the wrong people buy it. And then they leave a negative review because they are not your target audience. For example, we have hair loss spray, and this is a good spray. It's actually like natural or organic ingredients that helps you to regrow your hair. But if you already lost everything, it's not gonna, so please don't buy it. And if we don't tell you this on the listing, you're gonna buy it and leave a negative review because it's not working for you, and it's not supposed to work. So this is example of work that you have to do on listing. If you don't do it, you get negative reviews, your rating goes down, and we lose conversion rate and we lose profit. And then people say like Amazon does not work. Amazon does work, but it's a real work that you have to do. The beautiful thing is like you can actually turn around a lot of revenue and make basically global business, and then move on to expand into your own store, being brand, and basically exiting after that. So that's the benefit, but also it's real business that you have to put work in. That was like, I understand where it's coming from, so I'm not blaming anyone, but just trying to say the truth. And this truth is, this is the real situation. A lot of Amazon gurus that are trying to sell you a course, they are trying to convince you that, oh, here is the listing, the product is $20 on Amazon, and here it's $4 on Alibaba. You just buy here, sell there, and you're done. If it was that easy, they would be just doing exactly like that. But honestly, it's not as easy. It is possible, and it is a good, viable option still. But I think that's like these kinds of assumptions, they come from info product courses sellers who create these kinds of expectations, unfortunately. I had projected that within 3 months of launching, I would comfortably be selling at least 1,000 units per month with a healthy gross margin of over 100%. I can show you projections that we do, but it does not look like realistic expectations. But that's like a whole deep topic, how to project numbers, and you have to actually calculate your entire cash flow to understand numbers. Only when you calculated everything you can understand anything. But yeah, may not be realistic. It depends, of course, on the situation. 3 months into launching my paints on Amazon, I was barely making a few sales per week. If you didn't launch PPC, of course, it didn't make any sense. Why was it taking so long for my product to gain momentum? When we launch, first of all, we do rebates, like basically giving away product for free to people so that they can purchase it and leave a review. And then we also do wine voice. I recommend doing wine voice. You just sign up for this program and you can give away products for free to trusted Amazon reviewers who Amazon trusts, and they will give you reviews, and these reviews will boost your social proof and also show Amazon that you're a credible seller. And also we do basically a lot of rebates. As I said, you can do 100 rebates just to launch. Add to that PPC launch as well, which should be really minimalistic, but very narrowed down, not like wide open, high competition keywords, nothing like that. Just like low competition keywords, the most relevant keywords that you can do, and like basically only essential keywords that only specify your product. For example, if you are selling like microwave cover with silicone, then forget about advertising for microwave cover keyword. Forget about it. That's so competitive, especially for your product that just starts out. You should be advertising for the longest keyword you can find that is the most relevant to you, like silicone microwave cover with magnetic clamp, something like that. But it should still have the volume, just example. So if you combine rebates, reviews, wine voice, also reviews from friends and family, PPC with like very narrowed down keywords, no auto campaigns, forget about research. Like in 2024 nobody does research and launch. So you should do your research in Helium before the fact, and then do the launch. And if you combine all of that stuff and just keep doing advertising for 3 months, you're gonna be fine. And on the 3rd month you can take a look at the cash flow, and if cash flow for just this last month is neutral, then you have a chance to make it profitable on the next order, basically on the fourth month, fifth and sixth. So you can do another order with your supplier. But forget about making the first and second months profitable. That's just, if you like, especially like if you just launch like a regular product, forget about it. Yeah, if you have exceptionally high margin or like exceptionally basically empty market that you can just enter, it's like a blue market, then of course. But in general, like on average, that's how it goes. It didn't make sense. Why was it taking so long for my product to gain momentum? Because nobody who buys paints had heard of my generic private label brand and did not trust my product. Okay, yes, it's true that they don't know your brand, but you have to create your brand. Not being able to launch on Amazon and get to profitability, it's not because you don't have a brand. I mean, of course, having a brand is nice and it's gonna help you to this conversion rate and people gonna know you, yeah, that's all fine. The launch itself should not depend on brand awareness. If it's like that, then you don't even need PPC and anything. You just launch with brand name and people already searching with your brand name. Then it's easy. But I'm not sure that this is exactly the reason why this author could not succeed FBA. I think, yes, it is part of the problem that nobody knows your brand at first, but it is not essential. It is not essential to have a brand when you launch. If you have a good listing, if you can influence reviews, if you can influence your pictures of the product and your A+ and all your listing description and stuff, if you can put a video on your listing, how to use the product, how it looks like in real life from different angles, how it feels like, use cases from the user's perspective, please do. Basically, if you do that, then just absence of brand is not the reason. People are more likely to buy products they feel are suitable for them from brands they trust. Right product plus right market, right track to success. Business is not perfect, unfortunately. It's a product that people believe will solve a problem they have reliably. If you can do... This is actually a very good point. If you are an expert on the product and you solve problem that people have, that no one else is solving, oh my God, I want you to be on Amazon. Everyone wants you to succeed at this point. You have the right to exist. Like, I call it reason for existence. It's if you don't have any reason for existence, just like you want to make money, it's not, don't do business, just do something else. But if you have a reason for existence, meaning it's gonna do some good for this world, if it's gonna make some people more happy, oh my God, let's do business, let's make you successful. Like, I want you to succeed, everyone wants you to succeed. Of course, like, Amazon doesn't care about who wants what, but in general, in the long term, strategically, you will succeed if your product has a reason for existence. Okay, what's next? What specific problem were my acrylic paints solving? That's a good question to ask before launch. The right market is an audience that share a problem your product can solve. They also trust your brand. Which type of customer would be interested in buying my paints? Figuring out the right product and finding the right market to sell it to takes time and effort. Simply buying some paints in bulk from China, slapping a generic label on them and shipping them to an Amazon warehouse, hoping they would take off, was a mistake. This is why people, this was true in 2016, even 17, but now it's not. Simply buying some paints in bulk from China, this part, slapping a generic label, this does not work anymore, unfortunately. Sorry guys, but yeah, you have to create real value with your product. As long as your expectations on how long it will take to generate positive cash flow are realistic, you will be less susceptible to making bad decisions. That's really true. And what I really find, I see sellers doing this mistake a lot. Like, people don't basically underestimate the amount of money that you need just to start Amazon business. For example, imagine you want to launch on Amazon, right? And you have like first month second, and third, right? How do you think how much money you need just to launch? Okay, I will just try to show you real truth here. No, not trying to sell you any course. You will guys see the real numbers here. Imagine you need to buy stock. So buying inventory, for example, let's pick a number. Let's say you're gonna buy inventory for 10K, right? 10K you invest for inventory, right? Then you need to invest on your listing and like getting inventory to Amazon, listing itself, like getting reviews, rebates, all of that stuff. It's like another, I would say, 10K. Then, so this is stock. This is launch, which is like reviews, rebates, and so on. Then you pay this before first month, right? Until it arrives. Then on the first month, you need to pay, spend at least, I would say, if I were launching right now, I would pay like 5K in PPC. This is PPC. Without PPC, like I don't know how to launch. Like you can use TikTok and stuff, but the most like scalable way is like that. And I encourage actually using TikTok if you can, and any other means. If you have email list, oh my god, let's use it. But in general, you need PPC spend, and you need to spend it every month. So you spend every month 5K for PPC. It's so little. In general, I would recommend spending 10K every month, but let's pick 5K for example. This is the amount of money you're gonna spend just in 3 months. So let's calculate. Here we have 20K, then we have another 15K. So at this point, we already spent 20K plus 15K, 35K, okay? Now we have the next month, which is we need actually at this point to make another order with our supplier, right? So we take the 10K here. This is month number 4. And then we need to spend another 5K on PPC, right? And then let's continue here, number 5 and number 6. So we keep spending on PPC here. At this point, this is decision point, whether we wanna reorder or not. We just look at this month and we decide, is this month's cash flow neutral or not? Or at least somewhat neutral. Like we may be in loss slightly, or we may be in slight positive income. So doesn't really matter. If it's like that, we can decide, okay, we're gonna go with this product, right? And if we do, we order another inventory and we keep spending, and money keeps, like money starts coming from that month. We get money at this month. So income, actual like payroll, comes at this point. And then income like from basically, let me try to illustrate this. It comes from this point. So from first month, we get a payroll on the month number 3. And from second month, we get payroll from month number 4. So at this point, we're gonna get only 2 payrolls from month number 1 and 2. So we have to invest just to make another order. We have to invest. So basically you need, I would say, 45K just to launch, which tells me like people actually don't underestimate the amount of money that you need just to launch. If you say that you don't have this money, then please don't launch on private label on Amazon, right? If you do, then you're not gonna make bad decisions. Exactly as he said here. Where was it? So yeah, as long as your expectations on how long it will take to generate positive cash flow are realistic, you will be less susceptible to making bad decisions. Exactly. If you have enough cash flow, you're not gonna be making bad decisions. The strategy, the long-term plan, you make a right decision here at this point, like this is your goal decision to order or not. And basically, yeah, exactly. Write down your projections based on the above and then double the amount of time you expect it to take until you generate positive cash flow, right? This is true. Based on that, are you still motivated to launch? Exactly. Choose a niche you have a genuine interest in. When I decided to sell paints on Amazon, I made the decision purely based on expected demand and profit I could generate from the product itself. I had no interest in painting. In fact, the last time I had used acrylic paints was when I was 13. It didn't matter, I figured. The projected numbers looked amazing. Did it really matter that I had no genuine interest in the niche? Going back to our formula for success, by choosing a niche I had no interest in, I put myself at a disadvantage. I had no genuine curiosity to ask the questions that lead to developing a useful product. I had no motivation to pursue building an audience I could validate my product with. I would say if it's your first business, then probably having a passion or interest is crucial, because when it's your first business, you don't have enough resources and perseverance to push through any obstacles that you see. It's not always doesn't make sense like to push through everything. Of course, sometimes you have to stop because it doesn't make sense and just stop this business and try something else. But in general, if you want to make a project successful, you're gonna push through any obstacle that you see. That's just how it is. And having interest and genuine curiosity about the niche is gonna help you with that. To have this like emotional perseverance and drive to keep going. But if it's, I don't know, you already have a lot of experience in business in general, then you don't need that. Like experienced business owners, they not necessarily have like passion for what they do. They just know how to get stuff done and how to win competition and what is required to do that, and analytical skills and then execution skills. This sounds like a person who had never experienced business before. So that's what it is, I think. I did not know anything about my customer besides the fact that they had just bought some paints from me. I did not care to learn about the specific problems customers were facing, the different type of paints available in the market, or what drove people to buy paints. My lack of interest and experience in this niche made me overlook acrylic paint as a simple product without much room for improvement or iteration. Ultimately, by choosing a niche I had no interest in, I lacked the curiosity and motivation to build a brand and story around the product. Avoid niches where you have no familiarity or interest in, because you will be competing against someone more motivated than you to spot product opportunities. General observations are correct, but the conclusions that the author made, I don't agree with. Like, we have some products that like just office supplies. Who is passionate about pens or paper or like stickers or I don't know? You may be passionate about it, but it doesn't really. First of all, not 100% of your competitors are passionate about it, but they are still successful. I can guarantee you, if you could talk to your competitors or you just talk to a lot of sellers on Amazon or Shopify, any kind of sellers, you will find a lot of people just don't really have interest in what they sell, but they sell a lot. They just execute analytical skills, just do the analysis, what's lacking, what needs to be improved. It does not really need passion to just execute that. You just have to be willing to push through this boring task of analysis. Let's move on. Not building an organic audience. As I mentioned, I launched my paints on Amazon's platform, taking advantage of the fulfillment options provided by them. What I failed to realize was that if I ever was lucky to sell some paint, I would be selling to Amazon's customer base, not my own. Amazon owns customer base. I did not have an organic audience. I had no connection to my customers. What was the demographic of my customers? Were they buying paints for themselves or friends, family, and classmates? Were they beginner painters or experienced painters? With no way of my customers, how was I supposed to write convincing sales copy? How was I supposed to position my product effectively? Yeah, if you wanna have this and you think it's essential, It's gonna help you, of course. This is gonna help you to write more convincing sales copy if you can call your customer, for example, or write an email, survey customer, just talk to him. But you can find other ways to do it. Just go to painting forums or events where they gather and just talk to them there. It's not necessarily like they should buy your product. Even people who don't buy your product, you still can talk to them and understand where is the product opportunity here. It's called customer development, basically. You just research your customer base. There are books about it, how to do it. You just execute it. The reasons that author picks here, they are just too powerful. They are exactly what he says they are, which is they're gonna help him, but they are like too hard to acquire. You know what I'm saying? You can do exactly this, achieve the same goal by having less resources. If you require so many resources just to achieve this task, you're gonna have a hard time in business in general. Okay, so no wonder I was hardly making any sales. No wonder I had to rely on expensive paid traffic for sales, which ate into my margins. I did manage to find out who the bulk of my customers were, however. Only then did I learn the importance of building an organic audience before launching on a larger scale. Yeah, you have to prove your ideas on smaller scale before you launch on larger scale. It makes sense. Like, you have to make sure that the product that you designed actually makes sense to offer to a bigger audience. It turned out that majority of my customers were mothers who were buying acrylic paints for their children, particularly for rock painting and fabric painting activities, despite me not marketing the product as such. That's cool. That's what you found. Like, this is the truth that you found on the market, which is really cool. If I had known that earlier, I would have refined my product offering to fit more to this audience. Remember, product to the right market. Yeah, but man, no regrets. Just do the analysis, do the conclusions, but please make the right conclusions. If you draw the wrong conclusion, you just go further from your goal. Number 4, relying on paid traffic. And that's interesting. We do a lot of paid traffic, so let's see what he has to say here. As my organic sales were slow, I decided to start running PPC, paid search ads, to boost sales. If I couldn't sell my acrylic paints that were marketed to the wrong audience organically, I was sure paying for ad space on Amazon would do the trick. Sure enough, my sales volume started to pick up. Miracle, I thought. I had finally solved my problem of slow sales. I would just buy ads to direct traffic to my listing, so long as the cost of acquisition CPA did not eat into my gross margin too much, I would be good. Wrong. Turns out, because I did not have a brand presence nor understand my customers' needs, the only keyword that drove some sales for me was, drumroll, acrylic paint. It turned out that everybody else selling acrylic paint on Amazon was also bidding on that keyword. I had to pay a pretty high price for that keyword to compete. That's interesting. So that's exactly what I said in the beginning. Like, you don't want to advertise on high competition keyword that everyone else is advertising on. If you do that, you're just gonna lose. I see niches where you have to pay $8 for click. Imagine paying $8 for one click. It's crazy. There are ways to get around it. Let's say we are selling iPhone case, right? Our product is iPhone case, okay? And it's like a leather product so it's leather for iPhone 15 Pro Max, for example. I will never advertise it for a keyword iPhone case. Advertising for iPhone case is just suicide. This, do not do it. Like, never do this, right? If you do this, you're gonna lose immediately and say that advertising does not work, and then try to find organic ways, and who knows where these people go. People who don't use advertising, like, I wanna see successes, but I don't hear much. So this is just a description of the product. And what I would do, I would pick the most relevant, the most like highly specific keywords to my product and nothing else. For example, this leather is brown, right? I know it's brown. So what I would do, I would pick what is the most specific keyword I can find in Helium 10 Cerebro tool. So you use Helium 10 Cerebro to find keywords that are more specific to your product. You can Google this, and it's the best tool. We use it just to research keywords before the launch. Never research keywords without the campaigns during the launch. Don't do it. You can do it later, but during the launch, researching is prohibited. Basically, it's just wasting money. So I would pick like iPhone case, iPhone leather case, brown, iPhone 15 leather case, brown, Pro Max. This is the kind of keyword that I would pick. And I would pick a lot of these ones, like not many, but I would say 10 to 20 keywords is a good range to work with during the launch. The higher relevance they are, the more highly specific they are to your product, the higher the chance that you're gonna convert for them really well. Because this is exactly what you offer. And this is exactly what customers are searching for. So use that. Never use like iPhone case keyword. Like you can do this, like we have some of the like bestseller, for example, we manage bestseller, and yeah, we sell for anything. Like we sell so much units, like we sell 50K units per month in highest month. Yeah, we can advertise on like really wide, like single word keywords. It's crazy. But until you are bestseller and sell a lot and have thousands of reviews, don't do it. Okay. So that's what he did exactly here. And also, one more point here, which is important. Sometimes there are no such keywords as I described. And this is the problem. The problem is that you cannot launch profitably in these kinds of niches. Don't pick these niches. Don't pick niches where you don't have this kind of wide range of keywords that you can pick from. I call it the difference between wide niche and narrow niche, right? You can pick like some clusters and just work with these clusters for a long time. Like for example, you can just pick this part and work on it for 3 to 6 months. Make it work really nicely and profitably. And then try to expand to more keywords. Pick another cluster and make it work. And this is how you move through the niche when your product becomes more stronger. But if your niche has 3 keywords, forget about it. If you have 3 keywords to pick from, there is no way you're gonna make PPC profitable. Like it's just not your strategy, right? So don't say like PPC does not work. No, it does work if it makes sense to use. Some niches, as I just said, it's just not the right strategy for new products. You have to use other strategies. But there are a lot of niches that are like that, like wide open niches in terms of PPC, and you can use it. And this is exactly the situations that he was in. So he makes a conclusion here that the zero brand presence plus bidding on competitive generic keywords equals no profit margin. Exactly. This is, I would say this is like superficial conclusions. It is like they are true, but if you dig deeper and you can find opportunities how to make them work. And that's what entrepreneurship is. Like finding opportunities where you can make it work. If everyone could make it work, then there would be like infinite competition. But if it's hard to make it work, then competition is less likely to succeed, so you can succeed and make money. And also, that's like another story, guys. I see businesses go out of business on Amazon, right? That's true. People who don't know how to count money, people who don't know how to calculate cash flow, people who don't know how to track Amazon fees, for example, that increased recently, and like all kinds of stuff that they don't do. Because of that, they lose money, they lose profit, they lose volume because they want to keep the margins. And when they shrink, they don't have the budget to compete, and you're done, basically. That's why, like, the more expertise you have right now, the higher your chance is to stay in the game. And the longer you stay in the game, the more chances for you to take the bigger market share, because everyone else is doing these kinds of conclusions where it's not possible, bro. It's just, this is, if you have zero brand presence, you cannot launch on Amazon. Yeah. Okay, I started making a loss on my sales. The cost of my product plus the service fees I pay to Amazon plus how much I was paying for each sale in advertising cost was higher than the price I was selling my product for. Where I had started with the expectation to be turning over a good cash flow within 3 months, I was now 6 months in and running at a negative cash flow, just to turn inventory over. Ouch, that's what I was talking about before. cash flow management, guys. Cash flow management. You have to know your turnaround cycle, how much cash you have to invest beforehand, how much cash you have to invest every month, and then when your payroll is gonna come. If you don't calculate that, of course you're gonna have cash flow shortages and stuff. And if you underestimate this number that is needed just to get into private label game, yeah, good luck. So I'm saying this to you to show the truth that no info courses seller guru is gonna show you, because he's not interested in you succeeding in the long term. He's interested in selling the course. So this is the truth of real business. This could have been avoided if I did not have to rely on paid traffic for sales. If you could just sell product without Amazon, just open the doors and people come to you. I'm just exaggerating, but that's the point. You have to use paid advertising. Like, no matter where you are, if you are on Shopify, you have to use paid advertising. If you are on Amazon, you have to use advertising. If you sell any kind of stuff. As I said, if you are a celebrity, yeah, you can rely on your celebrity awareness, brand awareness in masses. But in general, if you're just a regular dude, you have to, like, paid advertising works and it is effective. Otherwise, people would not use it. It's not like someone is forcing everyone to use paid ads. Everyone wants to use paid ads. Like, I want to use paid ads because I just want not to overspend, right? I don't want to waste money. I don't want to pay more than I have to. I want to just maximize what I make, not just, and use basically the tool to increase my income, not just to pay money to Jeff. So let's review where we are and put a timeline on the key mistakes that put my business in that situation. Setting the wrong expectations, especially not assuming that you're gonna be profitable in 3 months no matter what, and then also not underestimating the amount of cash flow that you need. Of course, it's gonna influence your bad decisions after that. Choosing a niche I had no interest in, overlooking the importance of identifying a good product and market to sell to. You still can choose a niche that you have no interest in, but you just seek product like cash flow opportunity there, like just market gap basically. And smart entrepreneurs can do that, and they beat you because they can't execute without passion. But you can have passion, and that's great if you do. Overlooking the importance of identifying a good product, this is exactly right. No matter if you have a passion or not, if you don't pay enough attention on a product offer on the market, then yeah, you are just not using product as a leverage. Basically, you have to outcompete competition on every level, on product level, on listing level, on like offer or like product offer and what problems it solves for people and how it's different from competitors, the pricing and advertising, like any kind of tool that you can influence. If you can control it, you have to outcompete competition at that tool. And if you don't outcompete competition at the product, then yeah, you're gonna just lose this opportunity. Not building an audience organically to validate my product and refine my sales pitch. Yes, like you have to build your product with feedback from real people, but having organic like audience, so to say, like being like blogger or like influencer, I would say, not really necessary. You can partner with these guys if you want to. You can just partner with some influencer who can give you this access to his audience for some fixed pay or percent, however you like, if that's what you want. But yeah, having feedback in general to develop the product, this is essential. Relying on one platform, Amazon for sales. Amazon was my only outlet for sales. I did not have a website or any other presence online because I thought I would not need one. I mean, I was selling on the biggest e-commerce platform. This mistake only started to hit home when I had to rely on paid traffic to turn over my inventory because I had no brand presence. I had no options. With no real brand and a generic product, I was left at the mercy of Amazon PPC auction market to dictate my cash flow. Relying on Amazon is not that bad. Like, have you tried relying on Shopify, for example, and then relying on Google PPC or some other like TikTok stuff to bring sales? You can try that. Try Google PPC and see how it works for you. So I would say having one platform is advantage, not a disadvantage, because you can focus your 100% effort on one platform and outcompete people who are there. Of course, you cannot outcompete all products, but you can still do better than people who don't do, for example, in PPC or on listing side. If they don't do well on listing, you can outcompete them with listing. And then over time you win in the long term. Not immediately, of course, but that's how it works. So I would say picking the one platform is what I would do as well. Like trying to launch on 5 platforms or 3 platforms at the same time, not gonna work. In hindsight, I would have prioritized building my own website and viewing Amazon as just a distribution channel. Although there have been success stories of brands being built on Amazon for me, it is still just one distribution channel. I would rather have options. A lot of stuff in this post on Reddit is true, but the conclusions that author came to, I don't think they are 100% correct. I would say building my own website. If you do the mistakes with product that you did and you don't use Amazon but use Shopify, you're still not gonna succeed because you just failed at product. So it's not like Amazon is not the reason why you failed. Yeah, it is Amazon. It is competitive, but it also has some advantages, which is sales volume and basically access to this audience. It's not your audience, but you still have this volume that you can get. And as a first step to e-commerce, it's a nice one. You can get away from it over time if you want, but what I would recommend is not get away, but just expand and add more platforms like your own store and stuff. But Amazon itself is not really the reason, but that's my take on it, guys. Let's see what they have to say in the comments. So people say, to be honest, I don't think you came to the right conclusions at all. That's my guy. So David Gears, that's what he said. That's what I think as well. For reference, I run a solo e-commerce business that does 60 to 100K a month using both organic and paid traffic. There are a billion people selling acrylic paints. You need to differentiate your paints to a niche market if you want success in that area. For instance, sell to anime artists and plaster anime art bright colors all over your packaging. Organic traffic is not the answer. I can tell you that our organic traffic did not start to significantly grow until we started running paid ads. That's what I'm saying as well. Like ads, you just have to use the right amount of ads. Not too much, not too little, just enough to help you grow. We get 1,000+ visitors a day organically to our blog posts. The point of paid ads is to know your margins. If you can spend 50% of your margin to make only 10% on the first sale, it's still a profit. No one gives a crap about your brand until they buy from you. Oh my god, that's cool. I'm gonna quote this guy because this is so cool. Let me put this quote. No one gives a crap about your brand until they buy from you. Exactly. How you gonna build a brand if nobody buys? You just expect to have brand before you can sell? No, you have to start selling and then you build brand over time. Like one of the products that we have under management is like a beauty product basically. So it has 30% of sales coming from subscribe and save, this option where you can go to Amazon, subscribe and save, and you will save 10 or 15% on your purchase if you subscribe for monthly recurring purchase. That's a brand, guys. That's what brand is. Not only that, brand is also like when people search for you, but also like having just recurring sales is great. This is the assets that you have, like asset of recurring customers, not your customers completely, but still you don't have to pay for ads, for example, to get this sale. So no one gives a crap about your brand until they buy from you. That's like gold. Traffic, on organic traffic, yeah. So the point of paid ads is to know your margins. If you can spend 50% of your margin to make only 10% on the first sale, it's still a profit. No one gives a crap about your brand until they buy from you. But once they've bought, you can get a return customer. Exactly what I'm saying. A return customer is everything. And make even more on your next sale. No offense, but man, it sounds like you have a lot more to learn and are projecting your failure as a sign that it doesn't work. It does. You just didn't sell a product people wanted and didn't know your numbers. This is why testing and research is important. You can't just throw any item up and expect it to sell. Very well said. I started Amazon FBA in 2015 and made a killing. 6 months after I started, I was earning more in 1 month than at my 9 to 5. I quit my job and did over 2.5 million the next year and made $500,000. Then the competition came and killed all my margins. Yeah, that can happen. If China people come and start selling with half of your price, yeah, it can happen. Amazon FBA is arbitrage. You don't own your customer data. You need to get off Amazon. Strategically, yes. Building your brand outside of Amazon, that's the way to go long term. Great post. It's often hard to self-find in order to realize what went wrong. Yeah, that's cool. Interesting take on it. I agree being passionate about the product help, but you can bypass that by doing a lot of research. Exactly, that's what I said. If you have enough experience and perseverance, and you can just basically push through this effort that you have to do. Like, you just know that you have to analyze the product and make improvements, and you just do it no matter how passionate you are. Sometimes the less passionate the product, the less competition there is. Like, niches that don't really have hobby passionate people, they thrive as not really less than other niches, like sometimes even more. Like, really simple products, that's what I'm saying. Like, passion is not required. It is nice to have, it is really good to have, to be honest, but not required. Very well said. I have stores on AMZ, Shopify and Shopee. My experience with AMZ is the worst. The seller system is super buggy since they continuously expanding catalog and system mechanism. They don't have the ability to fix previous bugs in such gigantic system. So a lot of stuff this person wrote here that basically explains that Amazon is like that. Yeah, Amazon has its problem, I agree. It is getting tough. It is. Biased post. Truly in a blunt, non-jerk way, your mistake was 1. Going private label off the bat, and 2. Not having a target market beyond people would totally buy this. Yeah, that's like really hitting home here. If you went that set on FBA, I would recommend arbitrage, or like you alluded to with your own site, make acrylic paints fun, perhaps call it cream of unicorn. The .com is available, by the way, at this moment. Remember, it's not always the thing, but how you relate to it. That's cool, yeah. Interesting points. Interesting points. Let me know, guys, in the comments how you think. That was my take on this material. It was really fun. Thank you.